In J.R.R. Tolkien's classic book, The Hobbit, there's this wonderful scene. Gandalf the wizard is trying to help these 13 dwarves recover their stolen treasure, stolen by Smaug, the fire-breathing dragon. But they need a burglar to sneak into Smaug's cave and tell them where the dragon is so they don't get roasted as they go in and try to recover their treasure. So Gandalf the wizard introduces these warrior dwarves to Bilbo Baggins the Hobbit. Now, hobbits are about 3'8". They love to party, they love to sleep, they don't want any adventures, thank you very much. And Thorin, the king of the dwarves, this mighty warrior, looks down at this little hobbit, and he looks at Gandalf and he says, "Why, he looks more like a grocer than a burglar." And Gandalf says, "Aha, there's more to this little hobbit than meets the eye. In fact," he says, "there's more to this little hobbit than even he sees in himself." And the rest of the story is the story of little Bilbo Baggins the Hobbit trying to live up to the expectations that were created for him by Gandalf at the beginning of the story. I'm Joe Ty, CEO of Values Coach, and your coach for this course on the 12 core action values. And today we cover the first cornerstone of core action value number 12, leadership, which is expectation. That's what leaders do. They raise our expectations. Leaders have high expectations of themselves and of other people. And they help people believe in those expectations and then live up to those expectations. And you know, the truth is, you tend to get what you expect out of life. In The Lord of the Rings, another Tolkien classic, Sauron, the evil master, expected that people were going to be treacherous. He didn't trust anybody. And sure enough, he was betrayed by Saruman. Gandalf, on the other hand, expected that people were going to have strong character, were going to be brave, were going to be honest, and that's the behavior he got. So let's look at some of the things that can help you be the kind of leader who does set and achieve high expectations. And the first thing is to be clear about what your expectations are, and that includes your expectations for behaviors. A number of years ago, I was traveling with the Auto Owners Insurance Company, and I was speaking with groups of independent insurance agents. And I talked about gossip and how toxic gossip can be. When two people are talking about a third person who's not in the room, that's a violation of integrity. Not to mention the dignity of the person who's being rumored about. And I said, we ought to get rid of it. I came back to the same group of agents several years later. A woman came up to me and she said, "Joe, you may not remember me, but you talked to us about gossip and raising our expectations, and we did that." She said, "We have outlawed gossip in our office. We lost a few people, but," she said, "our productivity has gone through the roof, and we're a much happier place because we have changed our expectations." Second thing, give people regular feedback. Don't wait for the annual performance appraisal. If somebody's not living up to your expectations, let them know quickly. If they're exceeding your expectations, pat them on the back. We'll get to that later in another module. The third thing is create expectations for both outcome and process. But the most important is outcomes. I think it was George Patton, the great general. He said, "Tell somebody what to do, but don't tell them how to do it, and you'll be surprised with what they come up with." So sometimes you have to have expectations about process. Football coach, you're going to run 10 100s. But you can also create expectations about the outcome. We want to make a certain amount of revenue this year. How are we going to do it? The fourth thing is, if you create expectations for yourself or others, you need to act like you really believe it. You need to act like that expectation is real. And let me give you an example. You may have seen the video or read the book The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Sort of a cult classic when it comes to abundance mindset. And I believe in that whole abundance thinking. I'm a big believer in visualization. But there's a real problem with that movie in particular and the book. It's all about stuff and it's all about me. There's nothing in there about meaningful work. There's nothing in there about making a contribution. And here's the thing. If you really have an abundance mindset, if you really expect there's abundance in the world, if you really expect all of this visualization you're going to be doing to make a difference in your life, act like it already has. And specifically, if you're visualizing dump trucks full of money coming into your front yard and dumping it, become an extravagantly generous person yourself. Be a big tipper. When you drive by the guy on the side of the road with a sign, stop by and give him some money. When you have a generous mindset, that will create, I believe, abundance in your life. And that gets me to the next thing, which is some advice I've given before. Write your own horoscope. Every morning when you get up, write your horoscope for the day. Better yet, do it the night before. A lot of people read it in the newspaper. You know, you got to wonder, why would you give a perfect stranger that privilege of writing your horoscope for the day? Why not do it yourself? Now, people laugh and they say it's ridiculous, and I say, I know, but try it anyway. And almost without exception, if somebody really tries it, 3, 4, 5 months later, I'm going to get a phone call or an email saying, I can't believe how it has changed my life, just simply writing out my horoscope for the day. And finally, I am often accused of being a Pollyanna. I mentioned that in the last video. Wearing rose-colored glasses. These are what I wear when I work at my computer. And you know what is true? I do expect the best. I have high expectations for myself and for other people. And I look through the world in those rose-colored glasses. But I also know that you have to prepare for the worst. And that's really a great formula for expectations. Expect the best, prepare for the worst. And the last thing is keep raising the bar. Once you achieve those expectations, raise them. Otherwise, you start to get complacent. You start to coast. You start to get old and stale. If you're not green and growing, Ray Kroc said, you're rotting. So we're going to talk about setting an example in the next module. But for now, think about what are your expectations for yourself. Be honest with yourself. What do you expect? What's going to happen for you this year? I'm Joe Ty, your values coach. Keep at it.